I kindly saved the drowning internet celebrity and did artificial respiration for him. He thanked me for saving his life and opened a special live broadcast. But he scolded me for molesting him. I didn't expect you to be such a dirty and lewd man. My best friend, who has been friends with me for many years, revealed my personal information and joined the online violence camp. Relying on the identity of the victim this time, the internet celebrity successfully transformed into a healing blogger and made a lot of money. And I became a street rat overnight, and no one listened to my argument. I was so depressed by the internet that I didn't even dare to leave the house, and finally jumped down from the rooftop. When I opened my eyes again, I went back to the day he fell into the water. 1. Help! Help me, I'm going to sink. Come and save me. The sound of sugging for help was loud and urgent. I suddenly opened my eyes. During the day, the busy city, the call for help became more and more urgent. Many people were attracted to watch, and I was also pulled over by my best friend Meng Wanwan to watch the excitement. The man who fell into the water fluttered violently. While slapping the water desperately, he held the wet kitten in his arms. Meng Wanwan took my hand and pulled me forward. Qian, this looks very dangerous. It won't be fatal. Seeing that I didn't respond, she looked more and more anxious and pulled my sleeve. Suddenly, an exclamation broke out from the crowd. Oh, isn't this the internet celebrity blogger? The one who treated the stray cat is called Surue. Didn't he stop updating recently? He said that he was anxious and depressed, so he came out to relax. He is depressed and still doesn't forget to save the stray cat. He is so kind. How could such a kind-hearted person have such an accident? Meng Wanwan trembled when he heard the words. Surue is a blogger who specializes in saving stray cats. The videos taken are all warm scenes of bathing, vaccinating and playing with kittens after rescuing stray cats, and participated in many public welfare activities for stray cats. Because of his good appearance, he is often regarded as propaganda, creating a simple and gentle personality. Many people are praising others for their beauty and kindness. Meng Wanwan was no exception. He was fascinated by Surue's appearance. What's more, under the momentum of the human setting, he became his hardcore fan. At this time, she was so excited that she couldn't wait to cut off her eyes and stick to the drowning man. Ah, it's really our brother Surue. I looked at this scene and felt shiver all over. It was also such a person who forced me to death with a false accusation in his last life. In my previous life, I jumped down to save him. After drowning, there was a golden rescue period. I saved his heart and gave him artificial respiration. When he woke up, he was carried on a stretcher and held my hand with tears in his eyes. Thank you so much. Please tell me your name. I will open a special live broadcast room to tell everyone that you saved me and the kitten. I was a little embarrassed to be praised, so I smiled and asked him to recuperate first. He paid all the medical expenses for him before leaving the hospital. Everything looks fine. Unexpectedly, a week later, he suddenly changed his face in the live broadcast room and made sure that I was taking advantage of the opportunity. My family, who knows that when I was unconscious, this woman actually forced me in the name of rescue. The bullet screen is rolling. All for Surue Ming's injustice. Surue created a depressed character. The more he said, the more emotional he was, and the big tears hit the screen. He is a big man, crying and choking in the live broadcast room of more than 100,000 people. I'm only 25 years old, and I've never even held a girl's hand. She actually pounced on me without saying a word. What she took away was my first friend. I feel so dirty now. Surue's voice trembled, and an obvious cry overflowed. The fans' reaction was even more excited, and they couldn't wait to correct me, a disciple, on the spot. This is indecent in the name of good deeds. She must pay the price for her behavior. 2. Thinking back to the present, Meng Wanwan was gracing my hand anxiously. What should I do? My brother is drowning. Go and save him. Qian, I beg you. I looked at Meng Wanwan in front of me coldly. Speaking of which, I was forced to jump off the rooftop in my previous life, and I also had her handwriting. Seeing that I had always been indifferent, Meng Wanwan twisted my arm viciously. Why are you so cold-blooded? Are you going to drown if you don't see my brother? I glanced at him and asked back. Don't you also swim? Meng Wanwan choked. She and I know very well why she didn't go. Isn't it just that Surue is so fierce that she is afraid of getting herself in? I rolled my eyes and hit her hand hard. If you like it, you can jump down to save yourself. Otherwise, shut up and don't make a fuss. Meng Wanwan was in a hurry. She took a deep breath and pushed me out. I'll let you save him. I was suddenly pushed and stumped by Meng Wanwan and almost fell headlong into the water. The person beside me pointed at me. Can the little girl swim? If you can, hurry up and save people. Don't procrastinate. That's a human life. Others also joined in and persuaded me to go into the water to save people. You can't let a life die just because you are timid. It's like reading into a dog's stomach. How can you ignore other people's lives just because you are greedy for life and fear of death? The discussion was endless, and one by one was talking coldly into the audience. Meng Wanwan, who was hiding in the crowd, looked at me with a sneer and looked smug. I know that she is playing the trick of moral kidnapping. I don't believe that there is no one who can swim in this group of onlookers. If they don't save themselves, why do they want me to save a girl? Looking at Su Rui, who was still struggling, I secretly rolled my eyes. It's so bad that no one can sell it. I simply got into the water and pretended to have a cramped foot and fluttered. I got cramps in the water before I warmed up. You can't save people. While fluttering, I grabbed Meng Wanwan's ankle and pulled her into the water. You can also swim. It's better for you to do such great merit. 3. In his previous life, Meng Wanwan, as a fan of Su Rui, had a lot of things that abused me on the internet. At that time, I spent all my savings to beat people and covered up my identity information. Unexpectedly, it was Meng Wanwan who personally offered me out in the end. She made my name, address, photo and fabricated black material into a PPT. In the name of my best friend, he opened a live broadcast to sue me. I'm also very sad that Zhang Qian did such a thing. Although I am her friend, I will never shelter this kind of scumbag in society. She sat in front of the camera, filled with righteous indignation. Netizens agreed one after another. No matter how I explain, they are all annihilated by overwhelming abuse and flying photos all over the sky. No one saw it and no one cared. That group of netizens even hacked my mobile phone and found out my accounts on various platforms. The takeaway: I climbed down from the 5th floor was tampered with. It was full of filth disguised as curry. I was so hungry that I was unprepared until the food entered my mouth, and the smell exploded in my mouth, rushing straight to the sky. I vomited so dark. He lay on the ground and vomited stomach acid, dying. I can't remember how many times I rinsed my mouth, but no matter how many times I rinse my mouth, the disgusting taste has been lingering in my mouth. The group of netizens also proudly posted this matter on the internet. It is said that it is a punishment for my relative Su Rui. Saying that Su Rui was kissed by me is as disgusting as I ate those dirty things. Finally, under the pressure of all kinds of high pressure, I stood on the rooftop. Before dying, I cried and made a video call to question Meng Wanwan, but she just said lightly, "You dill, how can you kiss my brother's mouth? Jump anyway, you are still polluting the air when you are alive." She looked at me with a sneer and disdain on her face. The jealous and ambitious face overlapped with Meng Wanwan, who was constantly fluttering in the water in front of me. She was suddenly dragged down by me and choked several times. Meng Wanwan was about to get angry when I pointed at Su Rui to show her. Su Rui was already fluttering with no strength, spitting bubbles in his mouth, and his head was almost in the water. "If you don't go, your brother is really going to drown." Seeing that Su Rui was no longer fluttering, Meng Wanwan gritted his teeth and hurried to Su Rui. I sat on the shore and dialed 120. He slowly opened the mobile phone live broadcast room and filmed the whole process of Meng Wanwan's bravery to save the internet celebrity who fell into the water. Of course, it is also the evidence that I am out of it. The experience of being treated as a fool let Meng Wanwan replace me in this life. If she knew Su Rui's true face, I don't know if she would still call Su Rui one by one. After death, I saw it with my own eyes. Su Rui. After learning the news of my death, he patted his thigh and laughed. Good death. Who let that dill person spoil my good deeds first? I went to see these beasts that day. I originally wanted to pretend to have fallen into the water by the way to attract attention and sympathy. Who knew that the stupid woman would suddenly rush out, and my plan was almost disrupted by her. Su Rui poured another full glass of wine and had a drink with the agent. What they said next made me feel like lightning strikes. So you want to come out and say that she molested you, don't you? Su Rui nodded proudly. Yes. Thanks to my cleverness. She said that she was a hooligan to stir up a wave of popularity. For the sake of my smooth life and rich life, her kiss will be cheap for her. All of this is Su Rui's conspiracy. My death was made a big deal by him, and he successfully harvested a large wave of traffic. That I watched his successful transformation, became a healing blogger, and reached the peak of his life from then on. In the next life, I saved him until my brain was twitching. 4. Meng Wanwan was suddenly dragged down by me and choked several times. The power of drowning people should not be underestimated. During the fierce struggle, Su Rui tore off a lot of Meng Wanwan's hair and messed up her clothes. She endured the pain, only cared about Su Rui's weight, and kept swimming to the shore, during which she choked a lot of water. Meng Wanwan tried his best to help Su Rui climb ashore, and he collapsed to the ground. She was out of breath and just stared at me fiercely. So I took the opportunity to hand her the live broadcast on my mobile phone and read the bullet screen aloud. He has drowned and lacked oxygen. Do artificial respiration to rescue him. Meng Wanwan was stunned and suddenly showed a shy expression. I'll get ready. I sneered secretly. It was finally her turn to do this great thing. Meng Wanwan lay on Su Rui's body and pouted to kiss him. Su Rui woke up at this time. Looking at Meng Wanwan's enlarged face in front of him, his hair was wet and stuck to his face. Su Rui was shocked and raised his hand to slap Meng Wanwan. Bang! Crispy and loud. Meng Wanwan covered half of his red face, and tears came out of pain. But I saw it with a sharp eye. Because of this, something rolled out of Su Rui's pocket. That's something I haven't seen in my last life. 5. A slingshot and a box of steel balls. The people around were all stunned when they saw this. This scene was also seen by everyone in the live broadcast room, and the bullet screen exploded for a moment. Why did Su Rui carry such a thing with him? These are not all used by those cat abusers. This plausible sentence is matched with a meaningful emoticon. In an instant, it caused a heated discussion. The stray cat treatment character set that Su Rui usually creates on the internet is not a pretend. It's really hypocritical. A tarot blogger had already counted him, saying that he was actually an asshole who killed a stray cat. You fans didn't believe it at that time. Are you slapped in the face now? Fans couldn't sit still at this time. They jumped out to refute and defended their brother. It's you people who are full and have nothing to do, who slander my brother all day long. My brother has been struggling in the water for so long just now. Maybe he accidentally hung up from the river. That's it, people with hearts look dirty. Our brother helps stray cats wholeheartedly. He is so kind. How can you slander him so much with one mouth? He ruined all his efforts to spread rumors, refute rumors and break his legs. These fans have always been good at self-hypnosis. I couldn't help laughing out loud when I looked at the bullet screen of Su Rui's whitewashing. These fans have always been good at self-hypnosis, which is exactly the same as my face in my last life. The fans' fighting power should not be underestimated, and those bad comments were soon covered up. Just when the bullet screen was chirping loudly, it was like the words I refuted when I was abused by the internet. 120 will arrive soon. After being carried into the ambulance by the medical staff, Su Rui opened his eyes with effort. You saved my life. I really don't want to repay such a great kindness. He forced himself to sit up, and his tone was still weak and abnormal. The young lady is kind-hearted. I remember you and will repay you well in the future. Su Rui's wet eyes stopped on Meng Wanwan for a moment. She immediately blushed with shame and was at a loss. Meng Wanwan lowered his head and stopped talking. Finally, he plucked up the courage to look up at Su Rui and smiled shyly. Actually, Unexpectedly, Su Rui's eyes turned and fell on me. Then he grabbed my hand and looked into my eyes affectionately. Little sister, thank you so much. The scene suddenly became embarrassed. In the moment of silence for a long time, a vicious gaze locked on my face. I didn't even need to look at it. I knew it was Meng Wanwan. All the people outside were stunned. They didn't expect that Su Rui would mistake me and regard me as his lifesaver. In view of my tragic death in his previous life, I kindly saved the drowning internet celebrity, but he falsely accused me of being obscene, and I was killed by online violence 39,103. It's tragic. Merit. Moreover, looking at the flash of calculations in Su Rui's eyes, I could see it clearly. He obviously has other plans. I immediately shook him off, grabbed Meng Wanwan's hand and pushed her in front of Su Rui, saying it firmly. It was she who saved you, not me. Her name is Meng Wanwan. Su Rui was stunned for a moment and shook his head quickly. No way, I remember it was you. I have evidence that Wanwan saved you. At that time I opened the live broadcast, and I have evidence that Wanwan saved you. Without thinking about it, I interrupted Su Rui's rebuttal, and immediately took out the live video in my mobile phone and handed it to him. Look for yourself. It's you who saved me late. Don't recognize the wrong person. It's cold to her heart. Su Rui had nothing to say now. He just stared at the video blankly. When he saw Meng Wanwan's embarrassed appearance, a trace of disgust clearly flashed in his eyes, and he quickly hid it. So that's how it is. Su Rui's eyes quickly turned red, and tears filled his eyes. He took the initiative to hold Meng Wanwan's hand. With tears in his eyes, he said to her what he had killed in his last life. I will definitely open a live broadcast for you. Praise your brave deeds, and thank you in the live broadcast room. Meng Wanwan nodded shyly, and her cheeks turned red. This is so funny. It's too much trouble for you. Su Rui held Meng Wanwan's hand with affection. Because you deserve it. I looked at the two people who looked at each other affectionately in front of me, and felt a little surge in my stomach. My intuition tells me that there must be more trouble later. After a period of calm, the platform pushed Su Rui's live broadcast room to me. The heat is extremely high, and something is bound to happen. I clicked in with the intention of watching the excitement. Unexpectedly, it was not Su Rui who bit Meng Wanwan back in the live broadcast room, but a happy and peaceful scene, and that result made me speechless. Su Rui and Meng Wanwan officially announced. 6. Meng Wanwan sat in Su Rui's arms and shyly buried her head between his neck. Su Rui stroked her back and looked at the camera generously. Wanwan is my lifesaver. After getting along with each other for a period of time, I found that we have similar interests and suitable personalities. Today I confess to Wanwan, and Wanwan has promised to be my girlfriend. I hope everyone can bless me and Wanwan. I firmly believe that we will definitely join hands to enter the temple of marriage. Su Rui said love words in Meng Wanwan's ear, and she blushed like a crab with shame. Watching the little couple flirt and swearing in front of the screen, there was also a sound of blessing in the bullet screen. This live broadcast made Su Rui's popularity rise. Originally, he only had 10,000 fans in the Communist Party of the Communist Party of. This night he directly gained 30,000 followers. I looked at Su Rui's smiling face in my mobile phone. I suddenly remembered the slingshots and steel balls that I saw falling from him last time. Combined with what netizens said in the comment section and everything I saw in Su Rui's home after my death in my previous life, I feel more and more that Su Rui is the one who can do such things as cat abuse. So, I secretly investigated these two things some time ago. Unexpectedly, I really found out something. Thinking of the tragedy of being deceived to death by Su Rui in my previous life, although Meng Wanwan also did a lot of wrong things to me, I think she still has the right to know the truth. I called Meng Wanwan and asked her out to meet her. Since after falling in love with Su Rui, Meng Wanwan became radiant, and even walked proudly. Now I'm an internet celebrity. I'm very busy. If you have anything to say, just say it quickly. My brother even made an appointment with me to have dinner and watch a movie in the evening. I considered the wording and tried to be euphemistic so that she could accept it. Don't be fooled by Su Rui. He is not as simple as he looks on the surface. Meng Wanwan stood up with a pat on the table, his eyes wide open. What nonsense are you talking about? I was shocked by her. Meng Wanwan was even more angry and pointed at my nose and began to curse. I think you are just jealous. You are jealous that I saved my brother, and my brother has a good eye for me. You regret giving me such a good opportunity, aren't you? You are a vicious woman who is greedy for life and afraid of death and likes to slander others. Oh, I got it. You are so maliciously speculation about my brother, just to provoke a separation, so as to take advantage of the void to snatch my brother away from me. I sat against the back of the sofa, and my ears were filled with Meng Wanwan's abuse. Her finger almost poked the tip of my nose. This appearance is very different from the gentle and cowardly Meng Wanwan in my memory. At first, she was timid and had low self-esteem. I tolerate her everywhere, let her go, and think about her first in everything. Even if she revealed my identity information and fabricated my black material in her previous life, I could still make excuses for her to say that she was also for self-defense and that she was also afraid. But I can't deceive myself like this anymore. I looked at Meng Wanwan, who was distorted in front of me. Today, did she tear up the real her again and show it to me? She doesn't plan to pretend. Now that it has reached the point where it can't end, I have to respect the fate of others and no longer persuade her. I patted her hand in front of my face, picked up the bag and turned away. Meng Wanwan was so angry that until I walked out of the cafe, I could still hear her angry scolding. Since then, Meng Wanwan and I have completely torn our faces. After a while, Su Rui's last official blog has almost disappeared. Looking at the thousands of fans falling, Su Rui was also panicked to death and began to think about how to gain popularity. Maybe it was because of what I said last time that Meng Wanwan was worried that I would rob Su Rui from her side, and she actually put eye drops in front of Su Rui. She gave advice to Su Rui, wanting to improve Su Rui's popularity by destroying my way. 7. I became a guinea pig sacrificed by them. Su Rui started a live broadcast again. Together with Meng Wanwan, the two of them complained and chatted. The popularity of the live broadcast room soared rapidly. Seeing more and more people watching the live broadcast, Su Rui's sales are even more emotional. I fell into the water at the beginning. If it hadn't been for Wanwan, I would have almost died. Listen to you, did your best friend clearly say that I drowned at that time? Meng Wanwan nodded, buried himself in Su Rui's arms, grabbed his clothes, and his eyes were full of distress. Yes, when I persuaded her to go into the water to save you, she flatly refused. And when she was on the shore, she chirped and refused to go down. She was persuaded to go down by the kind person next to her. Zhang Qianming is so good at swimming. How can he have cramps when he gets in the water? To put it bluntly, I just want to save myself and protect myself. I'm really blind. I've been a good friend with this kind of person for so many years. I'm not good at swimming. I almost got myself in when I went down to save you. I'm really useless. With that, Meng Wanwan choked and cried. Because Meng Wanwan testified in person, all the people believed what they said. The bullet screen in the live broadcast room was crazily brushed, all of which were saying that I would not be saved when I saw death, and my moral sense was poor. They also compared me with Meng Wanwan, highlighting the nasty of Meng Wanwan sacrificing herself to save people. Look at the familiar vicious words rolling in the bullet screen. I got it. It's another online violence. Su Rui and Meng Wanwan decided to do the old trick again. I couldn't laugh or cry when I looked at this familiar road. Can't they think of any other way but to guide online violence? I will never sit by and wait for death this time. I also opened a live broadcast. Many people in Su Rui's live broadcast room came to me when they smelled it. For a while, the number of people in my live broadcast room continued to rise, and soon exceeded 10,000. I absent-mindedly browsed those comments that scolded me. I have seen a lot of these in my previous life, and there are many people who are more cruel and vicious. Now I don't feel anything. Waiting for a lot of people gathered, I threw out a screenshot without saying a word. It was the picture of the slingshot and steel ball falling from Su Rui in the live broadcast that day. The bullet screen is rolling. Su Rui's fans began to scold me for taking meaning out of conked, and told me again about their clarification in the live broadcast room. But of course, I made full preparations to open the live broadcast. I immediately uploaded the surveillance video I investigated. This video has been covered in my place for so long, and it finally comes in handy. The video begins to play. Su Rui wrapped himself tightly and shot the stray cat in the dark with a slingshot. The kitten howled and pinched the back of the stray cat's neck and picked it up. He took off his hat with a smile on his face, and his hands became harder and harder. I finally caught you. Su Rui's fingers crushed the scars on the back of the stray cat from his slingshot. The kitten couldn't help screaming and was bruised all over by Su Rui. When the torture was enough, Su Ruidi slipped the kitten and threw it to the agent casually. Make it a little more miserable, pull out some hair and make some blood come out. I'll take a video in a while. The agent responded, and then the kitten screamed again. The bullet screen was strangely silent for a moment, and then brushed up crazily again. How is it possible? This video must have been faked. Our brother is so kind, how can he abuse cats? Fans began to whitewash Su Rui again, but the iron-fitted evidence was placed above, and they could not refute it again. I have called the police. I looked at the fans attacking and insulting me in the bullet screen, opened my mouth slowly, and showed them the call records with the police in my mobile phone. The group of fans are silent. 8. Now the public opinion is gradually on my side. I didn't expect Su Rui to play so much in private. It's really disgusting to kill stray cats wantonly, and set up a cat lover after that. Who knows which sentences he usually say is true for such a person. I think this little sister was right not to save him at the beginning. This kind of person who is full of lies and abuses small animals deserves to drown. Su Rui's character was completely broken. A large number of people turned off their fans and stepped back, pouring into Su Rui's live broadcast room and insulting him. Su Rui's face was confused. Obviously, he didn't expect that I would have such a counterattack. If he provokes me, he can be regarded as kicking the iron plate. Su Rui didn't pretend. He directly showed off in the live broadcast room, and threw the blame on Meng Wanwan's head. Look at what a bad idea you came up with. It's all harmed by you. Meng Wanwan, who was confused by his lover's sudden change of face, looked at Su Rui and said incoherently, "Brother, what are you talking about? We are not." Su Rui slapped Meng Wanwan's unfinished words with a fierce slap. Meng Wanwan covered his face and couldn't believe it. "Brother, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me." Su Rui slapped it again. "I'm really stupid to flirt with you about CP. You look so shabby that I want to vomit every day when I see you vomit, and I have to play a loving couple with you in front of the screen. Do you lack love? You have to post me back. It was the same as you came to save me in the last dive. Did I ask you to save me? Why did you ruin my good things? I'm really fed up." Meng Wanwan was stunned by the 2 consecutive slaps. When he came to his senses, his eyes had lost the magnificent love he had when he had seen Su Rui before. "Old lady reverse post? Why don't you take a look at the dirty things you have done? Who is rare to post back?" After getting along with Su Rui for several months, Meng Wanwan has mastered Su Rui's black material. Now the two broke up. Meng Wanwan poured out Su Rui's black material one by one. The goods were real. The people who ate melons were all shocked. I didn't expect that Su Rui would do so many illegal and disorderly things, and also sold a large number of cat abuse videos on the dark web, which also made a lot of money. Su Rui was so anxious that he rushed to Meng Wanwan to cover her mouth. Meng Wanwan is not a fuel-saving lamp. After learning that he was deceived and disliked by Su Rui, he didn't even call his brother and fought with Su Rui like a bitch. The number of people in the live broadcast room continues to rise. In addition to the lively melon-eating crowd, there is also the traffic I specially bought for him. Under my push, Su Rui's reputation was completely ruined. He should be quite satisfied. At least he is popular. Why is black and red not popular? The police knocked on the door, the two people who beat each other separated, and then the live broadcast room was blocked. I logged out of the blocked live broadcast page and bought a ticket to go abroad. The mess here has been dealt with and I should go out to relax. Su Rui was sentenced to prison. This incomparate hypocrite finally got the end he deserved. I pulled the packed suitcase to the airport. As soon as I opened the door, Meng Wanwan pounced on me. Maybe she waited in front of my house all night, and she was in a mess. Meng Wanwan hugged me and cried bitterly, and I lowered my eyes. I saw her arm full of scars, which was caught by Su Rui when she was fighting in the live broadcast room 2 days ago. I was wrong, Qian. I should have listened to you. I should have seen that Su Rui is a black-hearted bastard. I take back the hurtful words I said to you before, Qian. Will you forgive me? I was wrong. I really knew I was wrong. You are my best friend. You will forgive me, right? I grabbed Meng Wanwan's collar and pulled her off me. Looking at her bruises all over her body, I shook my head with a smile. No. Meng Wanwan was stunned, and I pulled the suitcase and walked around her. I won't forgive you. Meng Wanwan, this is your retribution. I didn't look back. When I got on the plane abroad, Meng Wanwan called me again. The bell rang twice, and I hung up without hesitation. It's time for me to relax and prepare for my next life. People can't always be trapped in the past. Meng Wanwan, Su Rui. Let these two people drown them in the long river of time. I should look forward.